Hello everyone, and welcome to our discussion of the optional data collection module in Design Manager Professional. My name is Brad, and I'll be hosting the demonstration today. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to enter them into the questions pane on your GoToWebinar panel. If the question is outside of the scope of today's discussion, please email them to support@designmanager.com. Lastly, if you miss a portion of the webinar or want to review any of our past discussions, go to our Help Center at knowledge.designmanager.com, select on the Webinars menu, go down to Recorded Webinars, and you can review any of our past discussions at your leisure. Today's discussion is only for Professional platform, as the data collection module is only available in Design Manager Pro. If you are a Design Manager Cloud user or a Pro Cloud user without data collection and would like more information on these features, feel free to stay on for the discussion, and you can also email sales@designmanager.com for additional information. The optional Design Manager data collection system is a flexible way to work with both special order merchandise and stock inventory items using barcode labels and a portable scanner. By organizing items and tasks into a logical group called lots or jobs, Design Manager allows you to track items to and from a job site, transfer items to projects for proposing and billing, receive items, ship items, transfer items to and from warehouses and showrooms, and even perform inventory physical counts. To utilize the data collection module, you will first need to purchase the data collection from our sales department along with a compatible scanner. You also need to print labels from Design Manager software that are compatible with that scanner. Now with the data collection module, you're actually going to have some new features dispersed throughout Design Manager. Let's first discuss those quickly as they ultimately determine what aspects of data collection that you're really interested in utilizing. First, on our company information window, on our inventory tab, we see a whole frame for data collection system defaults, and let's quickly go through those. First, we have the option to print labels after project purchase orders and after inventory purchase orders. And this will allow Design Manager to automatically print labels for project components and inventory items respectively upon making a purchase order for that merchandise, keeping the labels with the purchase order until the goods are received, and then we can actually scan right off of the labels themselves and easily attach them to the merchandise as it arrives. In the same vein, we have the option to show the barcodes on our purchase orders, and this is going to show the barcode for the corresponding project component or inventory item directly on the purchase order, again for easy scanning. Barcodes on delivery tickets, another option. So this will allow the barcodes for delivery tickets, particularly for project components again, or for inventory items to make very easy claim tickets when we're going to truly ship goods to the particular project. Lastly, we have another option for inventory claim labels when printing delivery tickets. This will allow Design Manager to automatically print labels for easy scanning when we're removing items out of our inventory for shipment to the particular project. Lastly, on the far right, we have the option for our Use Label Printer, and that's always an option in Design Manager, regardless if you have a data collection or not. Without the label printer, Design Manager will print your labels on Avery 5260 formats, which are basically 10 rows of 3 columns for the labels, while our label printers are configured to use 2.25 by 2-inch thermal printer labels as well. Some other options. On our project and specifications, we have some information on the component window that's available with our data collection. Choose our Hilson project, take a look at our first item, edit our first component, and our Special Instructions tab, we have an option or a menu for barcode labels. And this tells Design Manager when we're allowing Design Manager to print the labels upon creating the purchase order, how to do so. We can tell Design Manager to never print a label, and that would be applicable if the component is, of course, a labor or something along those lines, or you simply don't want labels for that particular component. By quantity. This will print out a single label for every unit that you have for that component. And lastly, a single label will be printed. And that's convenient if there might be 3 or 4 chairs, as an example. It might be a single set of chairs, and you only want one label as they must be sold together. So that's another option that you'll see on your component window upon purchasing the data collection software. Okay, lastly, we discussed the labels themselves. Now you can always print inventory labels by going to your inventory reports under your labels folder, and you have options to print for a particular inventory purchase order, quantity on hand, received, or for an individual stock item. If we use the quantity on hand option, we can see here is our inventory label format. Again, that would be printing on the Avery 5260 stock label format, and here would be all of our labels. In this case, we're printing one label for every on-hand quantity of an individual stock item. So we can always print out our labels in a Design Manager for our inventory items. But with, as we just said, with the data collection, we have other options to print labels. And let's see how some of those work as we just discussed. First, we talked about having Design Manager automatically print labels when we create our purchase orders. Let's first use a project purchase order by going to our Project tab, Project Purchase Orders, and we'll use our Hilson project again. To create a new purchase order, let's use our French dining table, our chairs. We can generate our purchase order, click OK, and we'll have our print preview of the purchase order. And notice first, there's our barcode, again, because we have our barcode on project purchase orders option lifted, and we can see not only the reference number in this case, but the scan or barcode number associated with the barcode itself. After we review our purchase order and accept, Design Manager automatically comes up with the purchase order label for that particular purchase order. And we're going to get a single label for each quantity. Remember how we saw we have the barcode labels with options for none, quantity, or single? Well, in this case, we have one label for our table and then a single label for each of the units of our chairs. So we can attach a label to each one of them. Or, for the time being, we can keep our labels with our purchase order as well, so our receiving department can attach them when the shipment arrives. The same applies for our inventory purchase orders. Let's go to our Inventory tab, Purchase Orders. I'm going to add a new one. Let's go ahead and make a purchase order for some of our hardware. We'll get, let's say, 3 quantities of those. Click OK. Here's our generated purchase order. OK again, gets our print preview. And again, we now have the barcode itself printing on the purchase order along with the associated number. And upon accepting, we also again get our purchase order label report. And in the case of inventory items, you will always get one label per unit. So rather than having an option like we do on our project-specific merchandise, for inventory you're always going to have an individual label created for each unit that you're ordering. Lastly, delivery tickets with inventory claim labels. Let's go back to our Project tab, project delivery tickets. Let's use the Carter project in this case, and we'll create a new delivery ticket. Let's get a few of our selections here. Here's our Design Manager delivery ticket, and the only difference here is now we're seeing again our barcode along with the barcode number under the scan information. Upon printing and accepting a delivery ticket, we have an option for our delivery ticket labels. And notice the claim labels only. This option tells Design Manager to whether or not to include a label for our project-specific or project-only merchandise or only for our inventory items. So since I want a label for the material that I'm getting just for this project and from inventory, I'm going to change the option to no. And we can see all of our labels are being printed here as well. And there we go. So there's a whole additional layer of labeling capabilities available in data collection as well. Now, the data collection window itself, along with the remote scanner, of course, is the core of the data collection module, obviously. To access the data collection module, we're going to go to our Inventory tab and select Remote Data Collection under our Management frame. And it brings us to our data collection window. Now, the window would show any and all current, what we call lots or projects, or data collection jobs that we have currently running right now. And from here, of course, we can create new ones with the Add button. We could access or review the items on a particular project job with the Items button. We could remove lots with the Delete button, and we'll discuss the Regis Export button a little later on in the webinar. Now, if multiple lots are listed, we can use the Type menu along the top left corner to show only jobs of a particular type. And here are the various types of data collection lots. We have project transfer, receiving, delivery, warehouse transfers, an item list, and the important physical count. Now, of course, we don't have any data collection lots going on currently, so let's go ahead and perform one example of each of them to show all the functionality of our data collection software. And let's begin with the project transfer. So upon adding a new data collection job, we're going to select the type of job we want to do. The data collection items window will reformat itself depending upon the type selected, so we have the appropriate information to enter. Now, the project transfer. This is used when we're taking items from inventory to a client site. The items are typically delivered to the client's residence to determine the various pieces that the client wants to purchase, or perhaps if you're staging a home for sale or for an event that they're having, etc. The items being taken to the client's location are scanned as they are loaded onto the truck, and the information is uploaded to the data collection module. Design Manager will then hold this lot until the items are to be formally committed to the project for future billing. Merchandise that the client decides not to keep and it gets eventually brought back can then be scanned again, updated into the lot, and will actually be removed from the project transfer and effectively returned to inventory. So let's go ahead and experiment with the project transfer. We select our type. Today's date is just fine for our example. The lot or truck number. Now, if you do have a truck or a series of trucks, you could certainly use that number. That would be fantastic. Otherwise, you might have a particular lots or bays or storage areas within your facility that you might want to use a various numbering scheme. Or we can just use any unique characteristic, such as something as easy for as PT for project transfer 1 for our example. Description or name, let's say this is going to be for the Hilson project. Status or note, inventory, shipment for Hilson. the source warehouse. This is also required along with the lot number. And Design Manager is going to need to know from which warehouse you're removing the inventory. If you're taking merchandise from multiple locations, you need to create separate project transfer jobs for each one. And we'll grab this from our main warehouse, like that. Now, I'm going to be using the convenient symbol CS3000 for the demonstration today as my scanning device. Now, this one cannot be used to upload data for a project transfer because you actually need to input a particular project code. But I can still demonstrate the process by manually adding a few inventory items by using the Add button. So we can use our data collection item window. This is going to be for the Helsons. Stock number. You have to input a quantity, of course. We'll just do 1. We'll use our OK Add to save that stock item. We'll get us ready for more entry. And let's get another one of these, and so on. So I could add as many items as I wanted to. Again, if I use the upload feature, which we'll see shortly, Design Manager would automatically populate our data collection items grid for us. I could edit any changes here if I need to change the quantity. I could remove particular items using the delete feature. The print button. The print button in this case allows us to generate a project transfer report. And this is effectively going to show us all the information that we have on our data collection items grid. We have the lot or truck number, the description and status note that we entered manually, the warehouse from which we're removing the inventory, the project, the items to which are going to be delivered, quantity, estimated cost, price, etc. Now if I click OK, I'm simply saving that project transfer lot or job. And I can then refer to it later. I could add items to it simply by going to the Items button. And just like that, I'm back on my data collection items window. And I can make further amendments here. We could add another item. Let's put in a different project. We'll use one of the Carson's projects. And we'll grab our table for them. Click OK. So now we have one item for the Carters, and we have another for the other two remaining for our Helsons. And if we generate our project transfer report now, we can see how Design Manager is grouping each of the projects with their items individually. Now, the Update button. Upon clicking the Update button, this is the function that's going to actually allow Design Manager to transfer or commit the inventory to the respective projects. This is actually going to perform the data collection function. So if we click Update, we will always be warned, because once we do this, we cannot there's no undo operation here. We can't automatically remove those items from the projects. If we click Yes, Design Manager will process the data collection project transfer. And if we go to our specifications, let's look at our Hilson project, we can see those are our two items that we just committed. We can see that we are coming from inventory using our first vendor. Further, if we look at our inventory itself, let's take a look at one of the pieces that we committed. Here's our chest of drawers that we committed to the Carter's project, and we can see Design Manager creates a committed transaction for us, today's date, committed, the warehouse from which we pulled the inventory, how many we've committed, and even the fact that it's going to the Hilson project as well. So the data collection, that's the real beauty of this module, is that it does all of this activity for us. And that was us doing a project transfer by manually adding the items. The rest of our examples today are going to be using the scanner itself. So let's go ahead, go back to our data collection, create another lot, and this time we'll do a receiving project. Now the receiving lot is used when we receive merchandise that we've ordered. In most cases, the merchandise will be ordered for your showroom or to place stock inventory, but it can be used with your project purchase orders as well. As we discussed before, Design Manager can provide you with a set of barcode labels immediately after generating a purchase order, which can be applied to the merchandise as we receive it. Now, if you scan these labels as a receiving lot and upload it into the data collection module, Design Manager will automatically record the items as being received either into your inventory or in the specifications for a particular project or projects. So let's receive the merchandise from our inventory PO. I'm going to take my scanner. Obviously, we can't see this. I'm going to scan it into my scanner using my labels. Okay, so now my lot is scanned into my symbol scanner. And now I'm going to prepare my data collection receiving lot. So we have a type of receiving, we have today's date, our lot or truck number, let's just call it R1 for receiving 1. Description, something along the lines of today's date, inventory, received inventory as the note, I just put my initials there. And now I can use my upload feature. I'm going to attach my scanner to my computer. I'm going to click the upload button, and then Design Manager is going to ask me, what's my scanning device? Since I've been using the symbol CS3000 as my scanning device, Design Manager is going to remember that and have it defaulted for me, but I could select the other devices. I'm using one. By clicking OK, with this particular model, I need to select my barcodes text file, which we can see is today's date and the current time, and click Open. And Design Manager automatically uploads that data for me. So I scanned, as you heard, the 3 pieces for our decorative brass pulls, and Design Manager is recognizing that fact and updating it into our data collection items grid automatically. And from here, I could make some changes if necessary. Perhaps I scanned one twice and I have an additional unit in there, or I misscanned one. I could simply edit my options. I could add new ones if I simply forgot to scan something or it didn't have a label on it. I can remove them with the delete button. In the case of the print button now, we're going to print our receiving report, which shows us the inventory purchase order, what warehouse we're going to be receiving into, all the stock numbers, their descriptions, the original PO quantity, how many I've received on this shipment, any prior units being received would show in the received to date, and the back order quantity would also be calculated. By clicking Update, Design Manager, again, is going to warn us, and this will be the process for Design Manager to truly update my inventory. If we click Yes, we can now go over to our stock items. Here's our particular item that we ordered. Now notice that our on order is back down to 0 and our on hand is at 4 because Design Manager automatically created the appropriate transactions. It did this receiving transaction for us, which reduces the on order quantity and increases the on hand for us. So just like that, the data collection can easily allow us to receive items into inventory. But we can also do it for project-related purchase orders as well. Let's do another receiving project. We'll click Add, select Receiving again as our type, How about R2? And this might be for the Hilsons. So let's put in today's date. Hilsons receive merchandise. Put my initials on. And now, scan again. And I'll get my project purchase order now. Going to scan our items. Going to attach my symbol scanner back to my computer. And we'll do our upload. Again, I'm already populated on my symbol device. Click OK. Select our barcodes text file, and there they are. And on our purchase order, again, we had our French dining room table and our side chairs. Since I scanned 5 times, I had 4 chairs and the one table itself. And again, we could add additional items manually, we could edit, we could delete. The receiving report in this case now shows us both of our items and components we're receiving, the original purchase order, what project we're going to, stock number, item number and component number, description, the original quantities, and what we're receiving in this particular lot. If we update, now let's hop over to our Hilson project, and we can see, let's use the dining room table as an example. We'll go down to our component. On the order status tab, we can see here's our received date and quantity, and our status note even updated for us from our note on the data collection job itself. Okay, let's take another example. We'll add another lot, and this time let's do our delivery. The delivery lot is used to record items as being truly shipped to the client site and is based upon a delivery ticket for a project. This function allows the shipper to scan each item that's going to be shipped right off of the delivery ticket if the barcodes are displayed, or if we printed our labels as well. Either way would work just fine. So we have our type of delivery, today's date, lot number, let's just use D1 for delivery 1. Description, this could be a delivery for the Carters. Status note, deliver goods, my initials in there. Again, the warehouse is always going to be required, particularly if there's inventory items that are included on the delivery ticket. We'll use our main warehouse again. And now, I'm going to scan off of my delivery ticket. Attach my scanner back to my computer, and we can go ahead and upload. Select our barcodes text file, and there they are. So now our project, our data collection items grid is different again. So we're seeing which project we're delivering to, the delivery ticket number, the item and component number, description. The delivery quantity is how much we intended to deliver. And the shipment is how much we're actually bringing today. And if I only had one of the sconces, for example, I could change that down to 1 and make any adjustments I need to here. The print button in this case is going to print our delivery report, which I particularly think is a handy feature because it's almost like a delivery packing slip, as the title indicates up top. So we have our site address, we have all of the information from the lot itself, lot description, our status, the warehouse, and then we can see the project, of course, the description of all of the items, the quantity proposed, how much we're truly shipping, and notice now I'm only shipping one of my sconces. Anything previously shipped would appear here, and the backorder quantity would automatically calculate as well. And there's even a receiving authorization signature and date, so that whoever on the carder's end actually gets the merchandise could optionally sign and date the document as well. And if we go ahead and update, we're going to mark those items as being shipped. Let's take a look at that project in our specifications. Here's our sconce. On the item window, status tab, we can see our delivery information. Now this is actually generated when the delivery ticket got created, as we saw in the beginning of the demonstration. Our shipped quantity is how many sconces truly got shipped today. And notice that does differ from the delivered quantity as we made that manual adjustment. So the data collection in this case handles all of our shipping for delivery tickets as well. Okay, we have some more examples. Let's go back to our data collection, create another one, and in this case let's do a warehouse transfer. A warehouse transfer lot is used to move merchandise between warehouses or showrooms. The merchandise is scanned as being loaded onto the truck, and the user then uploads this lot into the data collection window, as we'll see shortly. Then you're going to indicate the destination of this lot, and Design Manager will automatically remove the merchandise from the original warehouse and record it in the new warehouse. So we'll do a warehouse transfer. Today's date is just fine. Lot truck number, let's do WH1. Description, state, let's do a warehouse transfer. Moving merchandise to our other warehouse. Now, the source warehouse, where are we taking the merchandise from? Let's imagine this is our main warehouse, and the destination would be our secondary warehouse, the Cold Spring Creamery location. Now, go ahead and scan our information. So I'm going to use my inventory labels and just scan a few examples. Okay, we'll reattach my scanner to my computer. And we'll upload. We'll go over our symbol, select our barcodes, text file, and there they are. Those are the 4 items that I just scanned. We have our cabinet pull, brass door pull, and some bronze cabinet knobs. And we're going to move these out of our Vita Nova design warehouse into our Cold Spring Creamery location. The print feature in this one is going to be our warehouse transfer report, which just indicates where the goods are coming from, where they're going, the particular stock numbers, the description, how many are going, along with the estimated cost and price. If we update in this case, Design Manager is going to warn us, you want to transfer the goods from our Vita Nova design warehouse to our Cold Spring Creamery warehouse, and we do. And our inventory, if we take a look at our bronze cabinet knob, we can see a Design Manager made 2 adjustments now. We removed 2 units from our main warehouse, and we put them into our Cold Spring Creamery warehouse. So in this case, we're actually doing moving goods between various locations for our company. Next, two more examples. This will be our item list. Now the item list is simply used to assemble a list of merchandise from inventory. Once this list is uploaded into the data collection module, we can ultimately transfer it to a project later. Basically, it could be used as a holding area for merchandise that we are going to plan to commit to a project. So when we select our item list, we'll use today's date. Truck number, let's use item list 1. Description, items for Hilson. Status, began item list, my initials. And of course, we're going to need to enter the warehouse from which we're removing the goods. Again, if it's coming from multiple warehouses, we need to have an item list for each. Now let's go ahead. And I'll scan some additional inventory items. Attach my scanner back. And I'm ready to upload. Click our upload button. Grab our barcodes text file. And there they are. In this case, I scanned 3 of the wall plaques and 2 of the sconces. Again, we can add, edit, or change the quantity on them. We can remove them if I scan them incorrectly. The print feature here is going to be our item listing report, which is going to show the lot, our description and status, all of the stock numbers, the descriptions, the quantity or how many we're going to be transferring to the particular project, and the cost and price. If we go ahead and update, Design Manager is going to ask us, to which project do we want to commit these inventory items? Well, let's put this on the Hilson project, and then we'll actually put them into our wine cellar. Upon clicking OK here, we're warned, of course. And now, in our specifications for the Hilson project, we can see our 3 wall plaques and our 2 sconces. And if we look at our inventory, let's take a look at the sconce. On our status tab, we now have a committed transaction being recorded, so we're committing 2 of these to the Hilson project. So the data collection is completely unified throughout Design Manager and really allows particularly inventory manipulation to occur quite rapidly. Onward to our last data collection lot, and this is going to be the physical count. A physical count is used when you're reconciling the merchandise that you truly possess at your warehouses to what's being currently recorded in Design Manager. Performing a physical count in a timely manner is critical to maintaining proper inventory, and the data collection module makes this task much simpler. To take a physical count, here's what we do. We're going to select our physical count type. The date in this case is extremely important. This is going to be the date recorded for any necessary adjustments to the inventory and is the date that will be evaluated for inclusion on certain retroactive inventory reports, such as the inventory list by warehouse. So this date needs much more care than perhaps the others. Of course, we need a lot number. Let's do PC1. Description, mid-year physical count. Again, count my initials, and what warehouse are we counting today? If you have multiple warehouses, a physical count would need to be done for each one of them individually. And we'll do it for our main. And now we need to use the Get Inventory button. The Get Inventory is going to load all of our active inventory items into the data collection items grid, as you can see. Now, the process of the physical count. We would use our scanner to begin counting your inventory. Well, it's not necessary for the entire inventory to be scanned at once before uploading data into the data collection module. A single physical count job or lot may consist of several individual uploads, even over many days. Design Manager will allow you to combine these uploads into the job for one single physical count. For large inventory counts, it's recommended that smaller batches of scans are completed. Generally, a scan of approximately 100 to 150 items at a time is best. Now, I've already saved a physical count file for uploading rather than scanning all of our items. I'm going to head and use our upload feature to grab that. I'll click on upload, go to our symbol, there's our barcodes, and there we go. Now, notice we're only seeing items where our new on-hand quantity differs from the current on-hand. In other words, the values recorded in Design Manager differ from what I truly scanned. Now, I can use the Show All option, which would show all of my items, including ones where the Design Manager current on-hand matches what I scanned as well. At this point, it's highly recommended to print the physical count differences report using the print button. And we have some options here. One, do we want to only include particular items, either ones that we've selected for updating, ones we haven't selected for updating, or all of them? I like to see everything right now so I can review all of my information prior to truly updating. Do I want to include matching items? In this case, I'm going to leave that as no. I only want to focus on ones where I have a quantity discrepancy. And the eliminate zero count is going to prevent any items that has a new quantity of 0. In other words, we no longer have them. And if you click OK, we can see our physical count differences report. We're going to list all of the stock items where we have a difference in our quantities. We can see the information that Design Manager has currently, the cost, the on-hand, paid for quantities, and total cost, and compare them against what we have used on our uploaded for our physical count quantities. To the immediate right of that, we're going to see the future quantity adjustments, either increasing or decreasing the on-hand quantity, along with the appropriate cost adjustments. So this report is going to be a reference for what Design Manager is going to ultimately record as inventory adjustments upon updating. So again, this should be printed and recorded and saved with your records. Now, once we review the report, we can make any manual corrections to the item list in case an item was scanned twice, we want to delete it, or we missed an item, or we want to simply change the quantity, etc. Now, we want to tell Design Manager we're ready to update these particular inventory items with the new costs and quantities. And we would do so by selecting the Update Inventory option. Now I can do it manually for each one, but if I have a very voluminous inventory list here, that will be quite tedious. So you can use the Tag All Differences button, which is going to automatically select each of the items where the current on-hand quantity differs from the new quantity. In other words, it's going to tag them all for us. If I made an error there, of course I could use the untag all as well. When you're ready to update your inventory with the adjustments for each of the selected inventory items, we're going to head and update. First, Design Manager is going to warn us. We say, hey, before printing before updating your inventory with a physical count, we recommend that you print the physical count differences report. And we've already done so, so we can go ahead and click no, indicating that we've printed it already. Again, since that report is so critical as a reference, we even warn you further. Now we're ready to go ahead and do our update. Now Design Manager has automatically made all of those inventory adjustments to the inventory items to increase or reduce the on-hand and paid-for quantities along with the cost. Now remember, once we've done the physical count, that cannot be retrieved, nor can those changes be automatically reversed. So you do not want to update your inventory on a physical count until you are 100% satisfied that Design Manager is going to be performing it properly. And if we look at our inventory as an example, we can see Design Manager made an inventory adjustment for us, in this case to reduce the on-hand and paid-for quantities along with the appropriate cost, because we did a physical count of our data collection. So Design Manager made several inventory transactions for us, but if I have 10,000 items, it'd be very handy for the data collection to handle our physical count for us. Now, that leads us to our last topic for today, which is our RGIS export and import. Now, RGIS is the market leader in providing worldwide inventory counting services. Design Manager includes an import-export function through the data collection so that you can export a CSV or comma-separated value file to provide to RGIS with your current Design Manager inventory items, on-hand quantities, and the count. And then RGIS does all the work. They're going to finish counting your inventory, and they're going to provide an updated CSV file back to you, which you can import into Design Manager. To export for RGIS to prepare for their count, click the RGIS Export button, and you're simply going to select an area and name of your file to provide. I've already created one, as you can see, which we have here. And it's very simple. It's simply going to show the stock number, current on hand, the barcode, brief description, and for reference, the unit cost and price. Again, we provide this to RGIS. They would perform all that counting labor for you. When they're finished, they're going to give you that file back. How do we import it? Well, we already know. We're going to add a physical count log. Just put in our information quickly. RGIS count. Enter in our warehouse. And on our upload, we've been using the symbol selection, but there is an option for RGIS Import. And here is where we go and select our RGIS file. And Design Manager will then perform the physical count using that information. So RGIS is extremely handy and a timely mechanism to have your inventory counted rather than having yourself or your staff spend days doing so. And that brings us to the end of our data collection module discussion today. In conclusion, Design Manager has the optional data collection module that provides additional options for barcoding, labels for both your inventory and project-related merchandise. The data collection window allows us to process a multitude of different job or lot types, including the project transfer, receiving, delivery, warehouse transfer, items list, and the extremely important physical count. And we went through an example of each of those, including uploading scanned files, reviewing the effects on our projects or inventory throughout Design Manager, and then even discussing the option with the RGIS Export Import as well. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us on our data collection webinar today. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon and hope to see you again at our next webinar in the near future.